Hey everyone, it's Steve, back with another episode of Death Valley Discoveries. This is episode 19. Today we are heading into Lower Moonlight Canyon. Now this is a place I first visited on November 24th, 2010. So that was 14 years ago. And then I did come back one time since to see what I'm going to be showing you today, and that is Moonlight Bridge, one of my favorite natural features found here in Death Valley. So I'm excited to tell you more about that as we get going. All right, we've hiked up that rough wash and entered the mouth of Lower Moonlight Canyon, and you can see the group that we have here hiking. We have my family, we have Gia and Andrew, our friends. Let's see, as we were approaching the parking area, Andrew mentioned something interesting. What'd you say about this area, Andrew?
I've driven by this canyon a number of times and always wondered what was up here.
But now we're gonna head in here and we have a specific objective. Our focus is not Moonlight Canyon, but one of the side canyons. But I'll tell you more about that as we get going. The first defining feature in Moonlight Canyon is really these cliffs on the right side. Very wide open canyon. Check out this collapsed cliff right here that's formed a boulder tunnel. You can walk right through this. Kind of cool, a little bit eerie. This is the next big feature in Moonlight Canyon, Moonlight Springs. You can see all the plant growth up here. You can actually see some surface water right here. Got some flowing water. You can also see that the ground is really trampled. Sheep really like this area. Even got a little pool of water right here. Quite a lot of water here. You can actually see it cascading down the hillside right here. And one more spot. Water trickling down, forming a tiny waterfall here. As we hike up Moonlight Canyon, even though this canyon itself is not our main objective, let me tell you a little bit about this place. So, we are hiking up Lower Moonlight Canyon, and this particular hike, it's a very long, difficult hike, but it's quite beautiful as you get towards the end of it. So you need to gain about 3,300 feet in elevation to hike all of Lower Moonlight Canyon. And it's 7 miles in distance from the parking area to the base of the first major dry fall. The canyon itself starts out very wide, but once you get to about 4 miles, the canyon fully takes shape, and it's less of the dirt hillsides that you see kind of all around me here, and it looks more like a canyon. And then at mile 6, the canyon narrows down quite a bit, and the last mile is very beautiful. From mile 6 to mile 7, where you ended that first major dry fall, very pretty canyon with epic scenery, the mountains all around. Now, that's where the hike does end, at that first major dry fall. But for myself, I was hiking with a couple friends at one time, and we did get past that using an exposed ledge. And when hiking up canyon, we were able to get to the base of the third major dry fall. But that's not for regular hikers, that's for people that are comfortable with some level of exposure, which I'm less inclined to do these days. I should mention a word about Upper Moonlight Canyon. That can be seen in its entirety in my film Grapevine Solo Death Valley Adventure 2. That's really the central highlight and focus of that entire film, getting into Upper Moonlight Canyon and seeing it all. And I should add that Moonlight Canyon is actually one of my favorite 4 canyons in the park. So my personal 4 favorites as far as major canyons are Moonlight Canyon, Big Fall Canyon, Hidden Bridge Canyon, and Grandview Canyon. All places that most people don't go to. But when I speak about Moonlight Canyon being among my favorites, it's because of that upper portion. It's the beautiful slot narrows, which are not really seen from below here in the lower canyon. Well, we reached the junction here with Moonlight Bridge Canyon. We're going to turn out of Moonlight Canyon in just a moment, but I just want to again let you know, here I am with Gia and Andrew, 2 friends, and just wanted to ask you guys a question. So of course we're here in the Grapevine Mountains, one of my personal favorite ranges in Death Valley. Have you guys done much hiking here in the Grapevines?
Not really. We've done, of course, the classics like Fall Canyon, Titus Canyon, Corkscrew Peak.
And those hikes you mentioned, what was your favorite out of those 3 that you've done here before?
I think Corkscrew was the most memorable because we got lost following a bighorn sheep trail. And we made it into a big loop instead of a out and back. But yeah, Corkscrew Peak was special. The views were good. But yeah, just not a whole lot of grapevine hiking, unfortunately. So.
You know, Fall Canyon's a personal favorite. What did you think of that one?
That's another favorite of mine. I think out of the canyons that I've hiked in Death Valley, Fall is a favorite. I usually tell people, if you want to feel small and insignificant, go to Fall. Just big canyon.
Yeah, that's kind of a perfect description. Anyway, that lets you get to know Gia and Andrew a little bit. It's enjoyable hiking with them up here today. Right here you can see where we've exited Moonlight Canyon, and our group is heading up the wash here into Moonlight Bridge Canyon, aka the 4th side canyon of Moonlight Canyon. Gorgeous canyon wall right here. There's a major undercut in the water flow. This giant boulder right here in the wash actually marks the halfway spot to Moonlight Bridge. So once you pass this, you know you're halfway there. canyon is narrowing down quite a bit here in the upper reaches. You can see the wash though, it's quite rough. Lots of rocks and boulders, tripping hazards. We've arrived here at Moonlight Bridge. A little bit background about this. This was the 12th major natural bridge to be discovered in Death Valley National Park. And it was discovered in April of 2013 by a hiker named Kauri, a friend of mine, along with her parents. And they were just exploring some of these side canyons here of Moonlight Canyon and came across it. So that was a thrilling discovery. And actually, just a couple weeks after she found it and told me about it and published her report, I came out here myself to check it out. And one of the unique features about this natural bridge, it is the tallest, in other words, highest off the ground natural bridge in Death Valley. So that's what makes it very unique. Now, as far as the canyon setting behind it, it ends at a major dry fall back there that's blocked by a boulder at the top, a chalk stone, if you will. So in order to see the back side of the bridge, some scrambling's involved, which I might try to do in a couple minutes here. But let me share some of the views of the bridge with you. Walking under the bridge now, we're departing from Moonlight Bridge. After leaving the bridge, the group continued down canyon, but I split off and did a scramble up to the ridge here on the north side, the north ridge above Moonlight Bridge. Right there you can see upper Moonlight Bridge Canyon. No one's ever really hiked that or explored it at all because it's so difficult to get into. Directly below me is Moonlight Bridge. Can't really tell from this angle, but here's some of the cliffs all around with the sharp ridges, and then looking over into the Cottonwoods and Grave Canyon. And there is lower Moonlight Bridge Canyon as it drains into Moonlight Canyon, which is the main canyon cutting across here. Here is the view from wrapping around the ridge to a safe spot, at least for me, of the backside of Moonlight Bridge. Let me zoom in a couple times. So again, this is what it looks like from the opposite side of Moonlight Bridge, getting behind that dry fall. But very treacherous slopes here. Let me show you what it requires. See this? Scrambling down this. I'm actually going to stop right here and turn around. I have scrambled down these crazy slopes before, but with the rest of my group heading down canyon already, I don't really want to keep them waiting since I've done this before. And besides, I did get to see the backside of Moonlight Bridge from right here, so at least you could see an alternate angle of it. Hope you like seeing that. Here's the central area of Moonlight Bridge Canyon. And right here is where you would turn off if you were scrambling up to that ridge where I was standing at in order to see the backside of the bridge. But again, that area is not totally safe, so it's not recommended. I'm just passing by that rock right here. That marks the halfway spot up Moonlight Bridge Canyon to get to the natural bridge. And actually just past that rock is where the side canyon veers to the left to head toward the ridge. But again, as I said, that route is somewhat treacherous. I don't recommend people try to get to the backside of the bridge. But a couple things to wrap up this hike. So, first of all, Moonlight Bridge has been estimated to be 60 feet in height off the ground. And as I mentioned earlier, it is said that it is the tallest natural bridge in the park, meaning the bottom of it is the highest off the ground. But Andrew asked me something interesting. Yeah, he said, isn't Natural Bridge taller than Moonlight Bridge? And it's been estimated that Moonlight Bridge is actually a little bit taller. Natural Bridge, of course, is massive. It's the largest by volume natural bridge in the park. So Natural Bridge is the largest bridge, Moonlight Bridge is the tallest bridge, and Tunnel Bridge is the longest bridge, meaning walking through it has the greatest length to it. So those are three different bridges with different characteristics to them. So now our group is going to focus on hiking down Moonlight Canyon, as I'm just about to the junction with Moonlight Canyon. Before I wrap it up, I'm going to do something special here. I'm going to transport you across the valley to another location to see one of Death Valley's newest natural bridges. This was newly discovered a year and a half ago, so I'm going to show you this natural bridge for the first time. Unfortunately, I cannot reveal the location of it due to it being sensitive in nature, but I'm going to show you one of the newest natural bridges, and I'm going to assign it a name. So let's transport across the valley to tomorrow and check that out. It's now the next day, and as promised, I'm back with a little bonus footage, we'll call it. So for those of you who watched the whole video and made it to this point, you get to see something special. I'm here in the slot canyon that leads to one of Death Valley's newest natural bridge discoveries, made a year and a half ago by a park staff member. Now I can't disclose exactly where I am because NPS did ask me to keep this location confidential. However, I can show you what it looks like. So let me take you through this slot canyon. This is how it starts right here. This is really gorgeous through here. Really nice narrows. And there is the bridge. Literally just moments in to the slot canyon, I can see the natural bridge up above. Let's go in closer for a look. It's right up there above the slot canyon. Continue through the slot. It did not take long to come across this bridge. As you saw, the natural bridge is not very far into the slot canyon. Let me show you a few more zoomed angles of the bridge. this natural bridge. So again, this is the 18th major natural bridge to be discovered in Death Valley National Park. This was discovered in the spring of 2023. Now, since this was found, there were several more natural bridges that were found. At some point I will update my database. But one other thing about this natural bridge, the seasonal employee or staff member who found it declined to assign a name to it. So what I will probably do is take a look at it and assign an informal name to this natural bridge. Well, I continued hiking up this canyon. About 15 minutes, came to this major dry fall with different type of rock. And I'm going to turn around here. I scrambled up on the ridge with some difficulty above this natural bridge, and I got this incredible view of it. What a great angle. Such a cool natural bridge. I was thinking about names for this natural bridge since the discoverer elected not to assign it a name. And I think I'm going to call it Scorpion Bridge. When I look at it, the bridge is kind of shaped like a scorpion's tail, pointed up and ready to strike. So let me show you what I'm talking about. See, this would be where the tail of the scorpion starts, and then right there you can see the tail is raised and pointed forward, ready to strike. That's going to do it for this episode of Death Valley Discoveries. Thanks for joining myself, my family, our friends Gia and Andrew for a hike of Moonlight Bridge. And then in here, taking a little bonus few minutes to check out Death Valley's 18th natural bridge, and the one that I have decided to name Scorpion Bridge. Yeah, congratulations to the person who discovered this and for letting me come see it. And again, the location will need to remain undisclosed at the request of NPS. But I'm glad you got a chance to see Scorpion Bridge. Catch you on the next episode, everyone.